from National Treasury. I think this is also one program that I alluded earlier to in one of the slides, Chair, that we had about over 27,000, farmers that were being assisted with these young people. Young people accessing coaching sessions delivered by the youth participants on the monthly basis, because as we know that NYS is mainly a volunteerism program that encourages young people to participate. Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Walter. Chair, the CFO and Ms. Duma will go quickly through the quarter 3 reports, so we finish by 12 o'clock. Yeah.
Okay.
CFO.
Thanks, CEO. Thank you, Chair, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. I'll be very fast. So just an update on where we are with quarter 3. In terms of the revenue, I had spoken about how we started off with 752 million. It increased to 762 million in the second quarter. And in quarter 3, we had certain donor funders increase our total donor funding from 74 million to 154 million. Meaning that we got an additional 54 million in quarter 3 from the 100 million that we had presented in quarter 2. And the National Treasury has approved the rollover from the prior year of 122 million, which is a good win, because then in total, our overall revenue for the year in quarter 3 has now subsequently increased to 1.3 billion. And I had already mentioned how the breakdown, majority of it comes from the department of 516 million, 200 million comes from the PYEI NYS program, and then the 316 million is made up from the various other programs that we have through the donor funders. And then in terms of how the revenue spend has changed or changed from quarter 2, the total spend is 829 million in quarter 3. If you remember, in quarter 2, it was at 30%, and it has now increased by, it was at 35%, it has increased by 30%, that the overall budget that has been spent is 65%, but it's 99% year to date. But obviously the percentages will look like they're not growing as much because also the revenue has also increased. So the the percentage becomes relatively smaller as the revenue increases. But if you see on year to date, we are at 99%, meaning that we were on track in terms of our spend. And it's just that we have more funds now, and we have more targets to meet by. And then coming now to I'll just go to the next presentation. Actually, the numbers, CEO, if you can just go to the slides with the numbers so that I speak to the numbers, because the words are an explanation of what these numbers are saying. So the analysis of the revenue I've already spoken about, to say my new adjusted budget, because in quarter 3 we had to review our annual budget, and it has moved from 752 million, like we said, to 1.3 billion, which is your new adjusted budget. And then majority of that, I've already said that majority comes from the department, which is the 451, and then followed by PYE, the 200 million, and then the rollover, which is contributing to the majority of the increase. So that's the revenue analysis. So we can move to the expenditure. The expenditure analysis shows that majority of our spend, which total actual at quarter 3 is 828 million. Of that, for the programs, we are sitting at a total actual spend of 653 million out of the total adjusted budget of 1 million. This is 98% of year to date, and it is 63% of annual spend. So there's still a 37 there's still a 37 that needs to be spent in the quarter 4. And this is going to speak to the targets that still need to be met. So the 4 programs, the 2 programs that are still have shortages, that is where we will see the majority of the spend coming in terms of programs. And then in terms of employee cost, quarter 3, we had spent year to date 100%, and the annual spend we had spent 75%. And this is due to the fact that we still have this quarter where the employee cost will kick hopefully to 100%. And then capital expenditure, we have 102% year-to-date spend, which is 76% of annual. So majority of what's sitting there is laptops that needs to be deployed to the various branches where our most of our employees are based, and that will kick in, and we know that cost will come in the following quarter, making it aligned with the budget that we originally had. So coming to the expenditure by nature, we see that the big contributors are still in line with quarter two, which is your travel and workshops. So that is 42 million actual that has been spent to date in terms of travel. It was one of our major contributor because all the programs and all the branches, all the programs that are implemented run through and have an implication on that line item. And this are the expenditure by nature is what we ought to significantly end up seeing in terms of our financial statements. So this monthly reports that we do, or quarterly reports, is a fair reflection of what, when we have the consolidated financial statements, what we would end up seeing. And then we also have communications and ICT at 31 million. We have administration and overheads at 41 million. And then we have employee costs at 149 million, which is still in line with the expectation of how much should be spent in terms of employee costs. So we are still doing fine there. And again, the great win that we spoke about of the rollover being approved, we have that 366 million, which was utilized year to date in terms of the PYEI implementation. Are, and I will not go through all of them. Let me just pick the big ones. Again, it's the Department of Corporate Governance as compared to quarter two as well at 41 million, which is the Community Works Program in Mpumalanga. This also aligns with the prior quarter. And then we have Food Bev CETA at 9.3 million. And then just another one, Department of Sports and Arts and Culture at 6.3 million. So those are the big ones, which total 70 million. And we have done project disbursement of 45% as of quarter three. And then coming to the audit findings, it's still the same. As we said, quarter four is where we will resolve, or where the resolving will come to completion. And this speaks to HR. HR is Ms. Duma will speak about that. She's already said that the vacancy is being addressed. IT system, we've also said what we'll implement, and also for grants disbursement policies. Thank you, Chair.
Ms. Duma, Human Resources.
Thank you, CEO. So in terms of the brief update in quarter three, you will see that the field position has increased to 506, and our vacancy rate is currently sitting at 8.9%, and we still have a projected vacancy rate of 5.9%. On the next slide is just indication of the staff movement. So we had about 5 exits. 2 of those were resignation. One, it was an expiry of contract, so those contracts are on a 5-year fixed term. And then we had 2 retirements. Moving to the next slide is just an indication of the breakdown. Again, in terms of gender, we still have female with a bigger percentage, or with a bigger number, both in all staff and in the breakdown of executive and senior management.
Thanks, Chair. There's just one set of slides left. It's the budget review and recommendations. So in terms of that, around the 4th industrial revolution, we are making it simpler for young people, as we indicated, to sign on to the different government services and government platforms. Through NYDA, we are monitoring the reform of the curriculum to adjust to the 4th industrial revolution. In terms of measuring impact, in this sitting, we have provided the committee with 4 evaluation reports. I did provide Meliswa with the detail of those reports, and I trust the committee will receive them and be able to go through them. Homelessness, we are conceptualizing a program with the metros. We find that homelessness is most prevalent in the metros in South Africa, to address what is also becoming a burgeoning crisis. In terms of market linkages, Our youth entrepreneurs database, we are promoting it both to the public sector and the private sector for increasing market opportunities to young people. In terms of the jobs program, we have indicated that there's a reform going on in our jobs program where we are actively meeting with employers and employer groups, and we are developing more tailor-made recruitment solutions for individual employers. Just to give the committee an example, when we met with Clicks, for example, they said that they have an issue in that when young people apply for their programs, on many occasions they submit a false matric certificate. And if they had somebody who can assist them with verification of matric qualifications, that would assist them a lot in the implementation of their program. So
maybe because the CEO.
Chair?
What I was saying, honorable members, maybe the CEO can leave that presentation because we do have it. Anyway, we went through all the things that were presented to us by our own team. So let's go straight to clarity seeking questions from honorable members. Thank you very much, CEO. Don't stress. We'll continue. We do have the report. Can I get clarity seeking questions from members? Mr. Ndlela, I hope, is Mr. Ndlela in?
Yes, Chair, I'm here.
I hope you have started a program with your colleagues in KZN. To those families, we went to do oversight. I hope we went to visit them so that you can start programs with those young people who are there.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah,
Chair.
so we will, on the day when we are going to secure a meeting for you as board members to come and make your own presentation to the portfolio committee, we will then allow you to update us on how is the status right now. I received a message from one of the women who was there, who was busy writing to me regarding the transport for school kids, that now kids are no longer going to school. So I was busy with that lady and KZN officials and Honorable Masiko. So now, right now, she sent me a message that she thanks the portfolio committee. Now the transport has been arranged by the Department of Education. Their children are now going to school. So we'll expect more from you also, Mr. Ndlela. Thank you very much. Can I get hands from honorable members? Honorable Masiko, Honorable Stay, Honorable PT, Mason. Okay, let's so short. Zocala ngomnqobo, ngize nguMasondo, ngize ngo Masiko, ngize ngoHlongo, ngize ngoSheriff, ngicina ngoMphithi. In that order. Akekho omunye ngimshilo mse.
Chairperson, and good afternoon, honorable members. NYDA.
Okay. Ma'am Kawula, are you back? Okay,
Chairperson, my first question is to the NYDA is how many people with disabilities do they currently employ? And also of the 16 grant beneficiaries with disabilities in quarter two, how many of those were male and how many of those were female persons with disabilities? And also just to find out from the NYDA, what is it that they are currently doing to ensure that more young persons with disabilities are able to access their grants as well as their financial and non-financial support services? And also, what is the role of the branch disability champions if they are unable to get more young people with disabilities to access their services? So I think that since they have their disability champions in each branches, they should be able to reach more young persons with disabilities. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Babu Ngobo. Honorable Masondo.
Thank you, Chairperson. Good afternoon, honorable members, Chairperson, the Minister, and the NYDA and our staff. I would like to welcome the presentations that were done today. I don't have so many questions because what I prepared, the CEO already have managed to overcome on that. In the overview, financial performance for quarter two and quarter three of 2022-2023, how has the NYDA implemented the RIC recommendation in terms of financial management? In program one, in administration.
Masondo, repeat your question. You said what?
How has the NYDA implemented the ARC's recommendation in terms of financial management?
Okay.
Yes, in program one, the administration, how has the NYDA optimally utilized the 224.2 million funds sourced from public and private sectors to support youth development programs? What have been the user feedback regarding the application platform interface? How many youth have accessed the platform and were able to complete the ERP application? In program two, what was the total cost of supporting 1,198 youth-owned enterprises financially by the end of quarter two and for 2074 youth at the end of quarter three? On average, what was the cost per beneficiary? In number of beneficiaries supporting with business development support service, what have the MOUs not been concluded with the 4 universities? In grants, why has the NYDA issued only 37 grants for the Western Cape and 40 for the Northern Cape in quarter two, similarly in quarter three? In job placement, what are the key challenges experienced by the NYDA finding job opportunities for youth and then placing them? Why were there so few jobs placement for Limpopo, which is 3, and Eastern Cape, which is 17 in quarter two? Or I'm covered to the other one. Then in the audit action plan, why has there been no progress in resolving the 4 audit findings for 6 months? What will the NYDA do to ensure this is resolved in quarter 4? I'm covered to the last one, Chairperson. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Masondo. Honorable Masil.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, and greetings to your good self, honorable members on the platform, as well as the Department Minister and all the board members and staff from NYDA. Honorable Chair, I'm covered by the members that have asked the questions before me, but I think, Chairperson, one would also, on top of what you had said in relation to the oversight visit of the committee for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. One, Chair, we must reiterate, because some of the board members were not present, we only had a few. We must reiterate, Honorable Chairperson, the disappointment of the committee not having within the visit members of the board for the NYDA who did not accompany us to our visits, the first one obviously being in the shelters where they were needed most. But one would then like to get a report as to what has been done from the day that we have left. Is there any activity or movement that has taken place? And moving forward, what does the NYDA intend on doing in terms of the tasks that we had given to them as the National Youth Development Agency in attending to the challenges of the youth, the mainly young women in the shelters. The second issue, Honorable Chairperson, is around the board and the committees which were established by the board, obviously noting that the board came into office towards the end of December, or towards the end of 2021, 2022, which is the 1st of December 2021. We do understand and welcome the fact that they have implemented activities in all the 9 provinces, because we can see that board members have been really active in relation to the outreach programs. But they are also assigned as the board members to the different committees. Now, to note that between the appointment of the board on the 1st of December, the Human Resource and Remuneration Committee has only held 2 meetings. And we do understand that there's a vacancy rate of 11.2%. Obviously, welcoming the fact that the strategic and important vacancies have been filled. But, or maybe the critical vacant posts are in the process of being filled. And that also they've reported that the recruitment is underway, where only 33 of the 64 vacant positions have been or are in the process of being filled. But we would then need to understand, because it is a concern that only 2 meetings have been convened. Why is there only 2 meetings of the Human Resource and Remuneration Commission or committee being convened only twice? Chair, we do understand that there has been an ongoing investigation in the NYDA. With respect to that, the NYDA commissioned this report, which was an independent investigation into the allegations leveled against the CEO. And this investigation, Chair, started in the year 2022, which was May. And we do note the following from the report, and we welcome that there has been progress. The witnesses have been 8 out of 8 witnesses relevant to the investigation have provided evidence, and also the fact that witnesses have been forthcoming. And the report also notes that there's only 1 witness remaining to be interviewed, which will assist in completing the investigation process. Chairperson, we are promised as a committee, together with the presidency and the executive authority being the minister, that the report will be given to us by the end of February. But one wishes to know that why has there been a shift in the timeline, because we do understand that the previous report had said that we will receive the report in December, or the report would have been completed by December 2022. So it has now shifted to February 2023 to conclude the investigation. What has caused the delay? And also,
sorry, Honorable Masiko.
Yes, Honorable Chair.
My apologies, honorable members. In fact, they did call me about the delay of that report, and I have agreed with them that we'll await. I'm allowing them that time. We'll call them so that after the report is ready, they must just inform us so that I can convene meetings for them to come and make a presentation. My apologies, honorable members. They did notify me as the chair.
Okay. Thank you, Chair, for noting that. But what is also important, Chairperson, is because we don't want any cloud hanging over the organization that we are presiding over in terms of playing our oversight role. So it's important to check the timelines as and when they present them. But thank you for the clarity, Honorable Chairperson. The third issue is around the activities of the board members themselves, because it's important, Chairperson, that one, we do understand, and you have reported that there are board members who do communicate, and we do also see and appreciate the fact that when board members are out working, they do post on social media, and we see which then says that the NYDA is actually on the ground. But in terms of recording officially, we are not getting reports. For instance, for the month of November 2022, nothing has been recorded around the activity of the board member, Ms. Mlausi. November and December, Ms. Pillay has not recorded being participating in any activity. And for instance as well, for July, September, October, November, and December, nothing has been recorded for Mr. Mjajubani, but we do know that Mr. Mjajubani is, as a board member, active on the ground and attending to issues of youth development. There's a lot, Chair, that one can note. July, August, September, October, November, December, for Ms. Proctor, nothing has been recorded in terms of her activities. But one would also, in terms of Ms. Proctor, would wish to know that we do understand that there has been some extensive traveling internationally for Ms. Proctor in terms of working and networking, along with meetings with the SA High Commission. So how does this translate into the donor funding and the establishment of new partnerships for the National Youth Development Agency? Because it's important, Honorable Chairperson, that we always link the work that we do with the work of the National Youth Development Agency. If one is out doing international travel, it will be important to know, are we networking on behalf of the NYDA? Are we establishing some new relations and partnerships on behalf of the young people of South Africa? So all in all, Chairperson, in terms of the activities of the National Youth Development Agency board members, we said it the last time, Honorable Chair, and it's important to also state again that as much as we are all active on the ground, taking out school shoes and everything like that, it's important that we link the activities that we are doing, which are welcome, but it's not clear where is the synergy between the work that we are doing and in coordination with the NYDA strategic outcomes, and aligned as reporting are they in line with the strategic outcomes of the National Youth Development Agency? I think what we should be requesting or considering as a committee for the NYDA to report in line with the programs and associated indicators and targets. I think it's going to assist us, Chairperson, if we are able to say that, yes, these are the activities that you have done for the whole month. Now, we need to align them to the targets that we are having as the NYDA, as well as the associated indicators. And I think they will make a lot of sense for us if we report them like that. A quick question, Chairperson, around the charter of the NYDA Board of Directors. This charter was published in 2019. So we would like to know on whether or not the charter has been updated. And if so, I think we should request a copy, Chairperson, as a committee. Lastly, Chairperson, it's around the issue of grants. Honorable members have requested a report on the number of beneficiaries of grants for persons with disabilities. But Chairperson, I want to note, the committee must note the fact that we do note the fact that it's reported that the persons with disabilities or youth with disabilities have attended the life skills program, including the job preparedness programs that are being rolled out by the NYDA. But we should get an understanding whether or not this translates into job opportunities automatically for these persons with disabilities, because we are seeing that we are still